Hi everyone, welcome back to the Salt and Sauce podcast, the first one of a new season, looking at Hearts and Hibs, Edinburgh's two big football clubs. Obviously, a really exciting one looking to the season ahead. Robert, do you want to give a quick hello and just a wee shout out to our sponsor before we get started?
Yeah, hello listeners and welcome back. It's great to be back. We've had a little break, so great to get back into it. Just a shout out to the sponsor. So Mint Box Removal, an excellent removal company, covers kind of all of Scotland, but mainly kind of Edinburgh, the Lothians, Fife, that type of area. Really good reviews. As we've said before, they've moved some big celebrities about Scotland, so their details are on the screen.
Absolutely, yeah. So get in touch with them. Anyone looking to move house, going in and out of storage and things like that as well. Rob, before we get fully started, I understand we'll come on to this in a little bit. Obviously, Hibs were in Denmark recently. You were in Denmark for the game. Did you get recognised?
I did actually. I did. There was a couple of shout outs for the pod. A couple of people recognized me and said they were listening in, so that's great. That was really unexpected. As
Oh,
we said before, this is just kind of for a laugh. Um, but it was great to for a couple of people to recognize me, so that was really nice. So thanks for that.
and they didn't say anything about that Jambo so and so, or did they know?
They said less about the Hearts, more about the Hibs, but anyway.
Yeah. Um, actually, following up on that note, the first topic we're going to talk about this week, I imagine as a Hearts fan, I'll have quite a bit more to say because we're going to talk about transfers. Hibs, well, you can tell us what you think in a second, but Hearts have been busy, very busy. I'll kick off with that then. Looking at
Yeah.
transfers, actually, I'm delighted with the way the summer's gone so far. We've obviously got this new model of the Jamestown analytics, and it's exciting. I said it last season. I was excited. You look at Brighton, you look at Union Saint Gilloise, even Como over in Italy, with which he has a bit of an investment as well. This guy Tony Bloom, they're all doing brilliant. I mean, there's Como Division Two club now spending 19 million on players. Not that I'm saying Hearts will be doing that anytime soon, but it is super exciting. So I'm buzzing with it. But the whole point is, I think we either go for it or we don't, and that's why things like selling Penrice for 2 million, I think is ideal. I think that's probably his peak value. Could have got a few extra quid, maybe, but 2 million for a guy when we've got two left backs ready to come in, and this guy Harry Milne looks pretty decent. Um, I'd say every bit as good as Penrice. Obviously, it's maybe a bit early to say. I know there's some Hearts fans are a bit disappointed about that. Penrice going, given he was our best player last season, but I think for 2 million and the way we're going to reinvest it, I'm more than happy with that. But obviously, it's mainly been about players coming in for us. We've had Birch Grevnik, a right back that's come in. He looks interesting. He looks like he'll be decent going forward. I'd like to see him tested defensively. Obviously, we'll come on to the games we've played so far. They've all been against lower league opposition, but he's one of these guys that he can really hit a ball. I think when he pings it, I wouldn't be surprised to see him score a few screamers or certainly get a good few crosses in. We've also got Stuart Finlay in defence, good bit of experience. Derek McInnes knows him well. I've been again lower league opposition impressed with him so far. He's looked solid and he's popped up with a goal as well. We've had the guy McEntee. He's played in defence a bit, but he's actually sort of holding midfielder. He's looked busy. He was brilliant against Sunderland. Really intense, lots of energy. We've got this guy Magnuson that's just come in as a centre midfielder. We've not seen him play yet, but you know, comes in highly rated, so fingers crossed for that. Wingers that have come in, we've had Kizaridis. He's been brilliant, really direct, got a few goals already. It's exactly what we were missing last season. The only player we had that could do anything like that was Alan Forrest, and he's, I've got a soft spot for him, but he's not really good enough to be honest. Even though he is direct and has a goal in him here and there. We've had a guy Kabori just signed, not seen him play yet, but again, I'm just happy to get wingers in. We've had Kimbangu confirm. I get that he's more of a striker, but an option out wide. That's now made permanent. He was great last season overall. Went off the boil a wee bit, but great to have that depth in there. Claudio Braga, he'll be a real fan's favourite. Pace to burn, really direct, probably a bit more central again rather than being a winger. And he's got a few goals already. And looking at like a new signing, getting Lawrence Shanklin confirmed as well. And I think McInnes will get the best out of him. Now, again, I've just rattled off a whole bunch of names there. As a Hibs fan, you've probably not been able to see as much of them as some of the Hearts fans. But see, just having the depth, see finally getting a bit of width, finally getting a bit of pace, getting a manager that I think will put square pegs and square holes with these guys as well, i.e. Shankland, Kabangu, using the wingers properly, someone like Stuart Finlay. I'm really excited for the season ahead. I'm transfer wise absolutely buzzing so far. Before we jump onto the Hibs ones, what's it been like from an outsider's point of view, the Hearts transfer so far, Robert?
Yeah, well, obviously, I don't know much about them. I've got to be honest. Obviously, I know Kabangu. I actually quite rate Kabangu. I think in the right system and probably a season under his belt to settle in because, as we said before, Scottish football is unique. So he's had that season now, and yeah, I'd be expecting him to be quite a big player for Hearts next season. Shanklin looked like he was away. But that was a very good bit of business for Hearts. I think he showed the back end of last season. Okay, the pressure was off, but he's going to score goals. He's a goal scorer, and to replace him, you would have been spending millions to replace his goals. So they're two really good bits of business. Obviously Gordon as well re-signed.
Signed a new deal, yeah. He's injured at the minute. Obviously, at his age, it will take a while for him to get back up to shape. But yeah, Gordon signing a new deal.
Yeah, and the other guys, look, I think when the games are coming thick and fast, and we'll soon see. A bit like I'll come on to say about the Hibs signings. It's hard to tell how these players are going to fare. I think against lower league opposition, where you've got lots of the ball, you're obviously got better players. It's easy to look good, but I think when the pressure's on, and you're away to Celtic Park or Edinburgh derbies where you're not getting any minute on the ball, that's when you really see who's a good player and who's not.
I totally agree, and whilst I'm saying I'm excited, I'm well aware of who we've played so far. The one I would put in there, obviously, though, is Sunderland, who I get that wasn't their full strength, but they still had well over £100 million worth of players on that pitch. Um, and I would say, generally speaking, English Premier League clubs expect to beat non-old firm Scottish Premiership clubs, but we dominated them. Pumped them 3-0, very comfortable. I liked that we were high. McEntee for me was the perfect example of this. Really intense, great athlete, composed, gives the ball then to the better players once he wins it back. So yeah, there's a style of player that makes me think that they will come good. But as you say, it's the proof will be in the pudding as the season gets going. But a great start for pretty much all of them so far, I'd say.
Yeah, as I said, I'm expecting a stronger Hearts this season. I'm expecting McInnes as a guy that he's a wily old fox. He knows how to get results. He knows how to turn a loss into a draw and a draw into a win. So I'm expecting a stronger Hearts this season.
You mentioned about Shanklin there. We'll come on to Hibs in a bit, but just I think the final thing about him re-signing, as you say, Shanklin will get you goals when he's played up front, and I don't think McInnes has got any other intention other than getting Shanklin up front. And if you've got someone like Kabangu or Braga next to him who's got a bit of pace and can score a goal themselves, it is exciting because Shanklin can still be the guy that gets the goals and bring these guys into play. So, nah, I'm quite buzzing from that point of view. Hibs, however, one of the things actually, Rob, I was going to ask you about to kick off the section is someone that you're not signing now, or so I'm led to believe, is Triantes. That looks dead in the water. That one.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think it was a long shot.
Mm.
He's a young guy. He's on big money at Sunderland compared to what Hibs could offer.
Yeah, he got the clause in his contract, so if they got promoted, he got like a 15% wage rise.
Exactly. Which already, I'm sure he was already on pretty nice money, but to get an extra 15%, it just makes it hard for the likes of Hibs to compete with that. So Look, I wish him all the best. He's got to do what's right. The football career is a short one, and there's no hard feelings at all. If he's going to get offers elsewhere, I wish him all the best. And he was an excellent player for us last season. But I only want players at the club as well that want to be at the club. So I don't want players that have an eye on the next move. I want players that want to give everything for the club, and that's what we had last season. To be fair, and Triantis did that as well. So um, I wish him all the best. But look, obviously it would be brilliant to get him back,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we have to be realistic as well, and hopefully we've got other targets now in that position.
Yeah, fair enough. And part of the reason I wanted to ask about that is it was my understanding at one point it looked like he was going to sign almost the opposite of Shankland. It looked likely to happen until it wasn't. But that said, you've got a couple of guys in that if I was a Hibs fan, I'd be pretty happy with.
Yeah, so we've actually broke our transfer record. Spent over 1 million on one player, which is really outside of the old firm. It's huge numbers to be doing that, and I think it shows the club's ambition.
Yeah.
It shows that there's obviously money there as well, and that they trust Gray to use it wisely. So I'm not too sure on the pronunciation, so forgive me. Cligye,
Clegia, yeah, I wasn't sure on that one
yeah,
either.
yeah.
We'll wait for
So he was
wait for
at
Liam
Luzerne.
Scottish.
Look again, looks great on paper. You always have a look at a wee YouTube highlight reel when a new player comes in. He looks good. He looks athletic. He looks skillful. He looks like he knows where the back of the goal is. Again, let's see how he copes with the rigors of Scottish football.
Because I'm thinking about, this is my heart's glasses on. I'm thinking of money being spent on the likes of James Collins in the past, and don't get me wrong. Obviously, this guy's got a greater chance of doing it if he's demanding that kind of transfer fee, but there's certainly no guarantee.
There's no guarantees at all, and you even think back to Joey Barton kind of coming up to Rangers.
Aye,
Uh,
big
uh,
wages.
a solid enough Premier League player couldn't kick a ball in Scotland.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you just don't know what's going to happen. But I'm excited about it. I think it shows ambition. We brought in Salinger as well. I like the look of him.
Yep.
Saw him in a couple of preseason friendlies. He's big, looks quite commanding of his box. Again, I think it'd be harsh to replace Smith right now because he's on a good run of form. He's not really done anything to lose that jersey. So it's just good to have two kind of solid goalkeepers there who hopefully Gray can depend on because injuries happen throughout the season. So whoever is not number one, I'm sure will get a run in the team at some point.
Are you thinking Salinger's number one though? He's brought in for nearly 500,000. You would think so, probably.
Possibly, possibly. But I think Gray is the type of guy that says, you know what, you're in the team until
Until
you
you're
make a
not.
mistake and cost us points.
Yeah.
And then you know what, there's someone on the bench there who I'm now going to give a go to. So I don't see him putting Smith out the team right away, but I would say if Salinger comes in and establishes himself, I think you're probably right that Gray does have an eye on him being the number one. But I think there's good competition now there.
So
Uh,
there's about 1.5 million spent now. I know you've had the money from Venti coming in, which offsets that, but I've actually been impressed with your two free transfers as well in Mulligan and McGrath.
yes, I was really, really pleased to see. I've been saying it for years with Hibs and even Hearts to a point. Why do Hibs and Hearts not poach the best players from other clubs? They always end up going down south, or they sit on the bench at Rangers Celtic. You need to be proactive and say, you know what, we've just played Dundee there. He's running out of contract. Let's ask the question in the
Mhm.
transfer window.
Yeah.
And I just think Mulligan is the type of player. He's pacey, he's athletic, he's good on the ball, he knows the Scottish game as well. It was a no-brainer. Obviously, the quota for the Scottish players as well. He literally ticks all the boxes. So it was a bit left field. I didn't see it coming, but then when it
Mhm.
happened, I was like, "Is this Hibs doing something that just makes perfect sense?"
which means it's not going to work at all. It's going to be
Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, he played very well away to Midtjylland, which I'm sure we'll
yeah.
get to. And McGrath, we talked about that I think in one of the last pods before our break there. Really, really good player, really good SPL player level. He's got, a wicked delivery. He knows where the back of the net is. He's comfortable on the ball. So that was a really nice signing as well. So two really good kind of players ready to come into the first team.
You talk about taking players from clubs on Bosman's. The three that stick in my mind for Hearts and they're at opposite ends of the scale. Two of them still have time to prove it. But if I look at Jan Danda and Blair Spittle, Ross County Motherwell, they were standouts at their teams. They've come into Hearts. Spittle's had moments without being great. I wouldn't be too gutted to see him go now, to be honest. I'm not convinced he's going to kick on. Danda, possibly similar, although I still feel like we've not seen enough of him to make our mind up. But the other guy that jumps out, we were annoyed when it happened to us going in the other direction, but John Souttar.
Mm.
I mean, okay, he had his injuries, but I'm sure even as a Hibs fan, you can agree what a player
Absolutely. Very, very good centre back.
on a
But
free from Dundee United.
I,
Uh,
I, I just think that we need to do that a bit more.
sure, and if you get that with Mulligan, if you get that with McGrath, then well, unfortunately, good times for Hibs.
Yeah, and out obviously we got a big pay packet for Venti. There was kind of mixed feelings amongst the Hib support. A lot of people said, under Gray's system, he might kind of flourish, but again, he doesn't want to be here, and he made it very public that he didn't want to come back. So why would we want a player that doesn't want to come back and fight for his place?
Yeah, of course, you're going to get half-hearted performances from a guy that, to be honest, hadn't exactly set the world alight, even when he'd been playing. Certainly, my understanding of him, anyway.
No, but he was played out of position. To be fair to him, when he was played in his position, he was a good goal scorer, and that's what he showed when he was on loan there.
Fair enough.
But look, I just say take the money for him, send him out. We got rid of Tavares finally as well.
Ah,
He was on huge money at Hibs, and again, it's kind of the ghost of transfer windows past
yeah, yeah,
that huge money spent and just awful. Like I think he played like a few minutes for Motherwell as well, and you could just tell by looking at him, he just wasn't going to succeed in the league. And again, look, there'll be some you win, some you lose, and that's just nice. Nice one to get off the
yeah,
wage packet there.
yeah.
And then we got rid of Del Ferrier as well. So again, a guy that he's never going to be good enough to start for Hibs. He may be good in the kind of lower leagues or at kind of Falkirk, that type of thing,
Yeah.
but he's never going to be good enough for where Hibs want to get to. So
And even then, there's a chance there. I would say someone that can play for Falkirk might be like a squad option for Hibs,
yeah,
but
yeah,
if you can punt those wages and spend them on someone that's going to push more and actually maybe be a starter, then
exactly.
it's a no-brainer.
And we're not finished. Gray's openly said that, so we're still looking at. I would say we need another centre back, we need another striker, and we need a holding midfielder.
Is there anyone you know of? I realize that's maybe a difficult question because there's so much nonsense out there as well.
Yeah,
Any
the
any
rumors are very quiet, to be honest, Stuart. The rumors are very, very quiet, but
okay.
I would like to think that we had a plan B and C for Triantis not signing. So I don't believe that we've just banked on him signing with the variables involved, and we don't have other targets that we're actively looking at. So I would expect another few in the door before the window closes, another three at least, I'd say.
Fair enough. Well, obviously we'll be back to weekly podcasts so we can keep on top of that for the next month, obviously. Um, why don't you kick us off then, Rob? We both teams have been in action. Obviously, you've had the more exciting games. We've had more games. You were in Denmark for the game. I thought it was a brilliant result. My very quick take on it was, and I'm going to say this as a positive, you were a wee bit up against it in the second half, but actually, I think if you can dig in at that point, I would rather that than playing quite well and not scoring, if you know what I mean. So to keep it to 1-1, even when being between the two boxes, the second best team, I think is a huge positive.
Yeah, absolutely. There were always going to be moments in a game playing a team of that quality where we were going to be up against it. But I just want to make a couple of points about the Denmark trip. So obviously, it's been well documented how gutted I was to miss nearly all of our great run last season. So that when Hibs qualified and it was in Denmark, I was like, I'm going.
And
And
just a reminder on that, like part of the squad, you missed the games through injury.
yeah,
Any new listeners, Robert had a pretty bad knee injury. Well, he had a pretty bad knee injury about 20 years ago, and he's had several since then. This was actually the other knee, and it meant even traveling was just not an option for you.
no, it wasn't. And I even looked at it a couple of times and I was like, I can't manage stairs. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
I don't want to do kind of long-term damage to myself. So when Hibs got Midtjylland, I booked it right away. I didn't think of how I was going to get to the other side of Denmark when I realized I was like, Denmark's probably quite small. If I get to Copenhagen, it can't be that far. Then I realized it's 3.5 hours journey the other side of Denmark. So it was all booked by this time. So the only option was flying over. I took my daughter, Naomi. The only option was to stay at the airport hotel pretty much. And then in that the following morning on match day, get the train to the other side, which was actually lovely. I met some really good people that I just want to give a shout out to as well. We had the Hibs dad of the trip, Vince Robinson. Vince, you're an absolute legend, a legend. Um, just to tell people, I only had one away ticket, and I'd organized a home ticket from a kind of a German ticket site, which was legit, but it actually fell through on the day. So I was
Oh,
talking to Vince and everything on the train, and I was just explaining I've got my home and away ticket, and that thought I'd be okay getting in then, and we'd be okay sitting beside each other, hoping for just the electronic scanners and go for it. But a couple hours before the match, the German site messaged me and said your home ticket has fallen through. So we're there in Denmark, Hibs gear on, ready to go to the match. I've only one ticket, and I have my daughter there with me, and I was like, well, I don't think she's going to be too happy watching it in the pub. So I had a chat with Vince, and Vince said, well, you know what? The players are staying in my hotel. Walk round and I'll try and sort you out. There might be someone there that can sort you out. I was like,
so
okay,
Vince,
fair enough.
he lives in Denmark?
No, he doesn't. He traveled over from
Oh,
Florida.
sorry, in the hotel he was staying at,
Yeah,
right?
sorry, the hotel he was staying at. So Vince left the pub, left his mates, walked round with me and Naomi to his hotel, and he was like, someone here will sort you out. So I met a guy called Willie McEwen. He started Hibs Kids, very big in kind of the Hibs scene. And between Willie, he sorted me out with, he said, I tell you what, you give me your one away ticket and I'll give you two home, side by side, over at the Hibs end. So, Vince, Willie, thank you very much. It was, you took time out of your day to really make the trip memorable and to allow me to sit with my daughter and enjoy that moment and enjoy that memory. So, both of you, absolute legends. Thank you very much.
Just one question. So sorry, he gave you two home tickets. Now, when you're saying home, do you mean
The Midtjylland end.
yeah, okay, yeah. So you
Yeah,
mean home.
which I was taken because I was like,
Oh yeah, oh no, absolutely, yeah. And
yeah,
but even all football rivalry aside, uh, Vince and Willie, we tip of the hat to you there. That's absolutely brilliant.
absolutely. To take your
Love to see
time out
that.
when you're away with your mates,
Aye.
and you're kind of going there. It was a real touch of class. A touch of Hibs class, Stuart.
I don't know
Touch of
about
Hibs
that,
class.
but
And even Vince even went one step further. So we had our green tops on, and word was getting round they weren't letting anyone wearing green colours into the home end. And I was like that. Oh, what are we gonna do? Vince goes up to his hotel and gets a jumper for me and a jumper for Naomi. Like honestly,
oh, Vince. I mean,
brilliant.
credit to Willie, but Vince stole the show there with that one. Vince is getting man of the match for this week.
Vince man of the match. I think so. I think so.
Listen, all bantering aside, and even Hibs class, Hearts class, and all that. It's just that's good class.
Yeah,
I'm such a big fan of that, and it's the sort of thing that actually I'd like to think, even going like across teams, if there was a chance for a Hearts fan to help like a young Hibs fan, or vice versa,
yeah.
stuff like that does happen, and it's probably doesn't get reported enough. I mean, that's a beautiful story.
It was a nice story, and I just want to say as well, a shout out to the Block 7 lads. They all came in our carriage. None of them could get seats anywhere, and they were all coming in to our carriage. There was about 15 of them piled in. I was there with my daughter. They were nothing but respectful. They get a bad rep sometimes, but they were nothing but respectful. So well done to the Block 7 lads as well. So
Yeah. Because your daughter's 8 years old,
she's 8, nearly 9, yeah.
and so there's definitely a chance that she could get the wrong impression from some young lads having a
No,
few.
absolutely. They were nothing but respectful, and conducted themselves really, really well. So anyway, that's my shout outs. We'll get onto the match now. I'm not going to go into it in minute detail because we've so much to cover. I thought the moment the match started, Hibs were up for it. And I think that that was fueled by the Midtjylland manager saying we're going to easily beat Hibs. Not only that, we're going to go through to the next round and we're going to qualify. Now, stuff like that comes back to bite you on the you know what. And that's how it was looking. I was thinking to myself, we are really up for this. Boyle was pressing them, Bowie was giving them a terrible time. Our midfield was just controlling it. The guys at the back were pressing up high, and I just thought, this is actually the way to do it. Don't come here and not lay a glove on them. Let's be competitive, let's try and get a goal ahead and just see what happens. And we absolutely rattled them those first few minutes. They couldn't control the ball because of the intensity that we were giving. So it was just great to see, really. Um, we go 1-0 up. I'm trying to even remember the game. The goal,
Bowie, no?
no, McGrath. So the
Oh,
ball's
of
out
course.
wide for a free kick, and McGrath he does the old Paul Hartley at Hampden to McAlamby.
Talk me through that again. I think
Yeah. So
Malkowski.
Majkowski, that's it. So McGrath's got the free kick on the left hand side. Keeper's expecting him to whip it in for one of the strikers, and he just puts it right in. And the keeper, poor positioning to be fair, but it was quick thinking by McGrath, and the ball goes behind the line. So I'm sitting there like that when that goal goes in. I've got like Vikings either side of me, and Naomi's like that. We scored, and I'm like that. Yeah, I know. And the Hibs end's right there
Great
going
goal.
absolutely crazy.
And it's a great goal as well. You like, Hartley, those types of free kicks, you want to go crazy because of the genius of them, but you can't because of the Vikings.
No, I just had to sit there and just be like, right, that's a good goal. Um,
Yeah.
and from then on, really, it was just a tale of kind of we I think we had a competitive first half, and we had chances in the second half as well. Uh, I think it was the first half to go 2-0 up. Boyle was offside, or was that second half? I can't really remember the order of things, but I thought we were 2-0 up, and then it was chalked off for offside. And then look, Midtjylland had a lot of possession without doing very much with it. So I
That's
was quite comfortable. I was saying, you know what, we're not going to get hammered here. We're definitely not going to get hammered. Okay, they might get a goal. I would say, and I would bite your hand off for a draw before it. The a team that were in the Champions League last season,
yeah.
and we were holding our own. So I was really really happy overall with the performance. They scored a free kick. I thought the wall kind of let the keeper down a bit. If the wall jumps there, I don't think he gets to do that. I don't think it goes in. I think it just someone takes one in the face. But look, maybe that's being harsh. It was a good free kick. And I can't say look, we deserve to win or anything crazy like that. We were second best in terms of possession, but in terms of chances created,
Yeah.
we I would say it was probably 50-50. I've not looked at the stats, but we looked dangerous anytime we were going forward. And with a bit better decision making, we could have scored another.
That's no, I mean that's a style of play, and obviously I don't think you'd like to do it every week, but when you're, as you say, they're no mugs. I get they're not like the big names of European football, but they've got European caliber, as you say, Champions League experience and things like that. So no, the right thing for Hibs to do there is start off with that intensity, that energy. That's probably going to fade, and then you sit and you counter. But for me, there's a big difference between sitting in and riding your luck,
Yeah,
and that's if they're getting chance after chance after chance, and they're
yeah,
hitting the post, they're hitting the bar, your keeper's making worldy saves, or they're missing sitters. But as you say, up until the 18-yard box, yeah, okay, fine, they were better, sure, more of the ball, but that wasn't Hibs' plan wasn't to win that part of the pitch. Hibs' plan was to win the 18-yard boxes, and in some ways,
exactly. So Gray got his tactics spot on. He got his team spot on again. And again, I think it just proves that the Hibs team that's been created by Gray is made of stronger stuff. And it's made of the stuff that fans of Hibs have been crying for a long time. And we saw it last season in that run. And I think we're going to see it this season as well. That there's
yeah,
a mentality now in the squad to not concede, to score goals, and to be competitive. And
that
that's a minimum I think any fan can expect.
if I could, and this will sound like a dig, I generally don't mean it to. Um, there's one thing that I would say for quite a lot of my time supporting Hearts is even when we've been bad and Hibs have even been better than us, I've always felt like we could beat you. Even if that's over the season we've been worse than you, on the day we've been worse than you, I still feel like we'll nick a draw or we'll nick a win. And I think of like the relegation party at Tynecastle, games like that. And Hibs have lacked steel, I would say, for a long time. And I get that as a Hearts fan, that sounds like I'm really having a go. I think
It's the
it's true.
truth.
I would say that just objectively.
It's absolutely the truth.
And what I'm seeing from Hibs from the last, well, maybe not 12 months, 10 months, 9 months maybe,
Mm.
is in fact not even as long as that. It was kind of December really actually that he's kicked up a gear. But anyway, is you've got that steal and it's the last minute equaliser against Aberdeen, these sorts of things.
Yeah,
Um, even against Hearts when we had the better of that first half and you came on and Iredale scored. Hibs have had that wee bit about them that I've got to be honest, I can't really ever remember seeing it from a Hibs team for a long time.
yeah. I think the last time was probably we had it a bit under Stubbs, but even then, okay, we won the cup and we definitely showed character to do that and
Yeah.
the run before that, but we also lost the playoff and we also didn't get promoted out that league.
I,
Um,
I don't know. I mean, Stubbs, we spoke about it a bit last season. I don't think Stubbs can be talked about having steel when you spent 3 years in the championship. You're right, on the day of the cup final, definitely, and what a game it was, and what an achievement, and I was actually really happy for you.
yeah.
Um, but no, I certainly wouldn't put it the same as what Gray's done on a
Oh
kind
no, definitely not. Definitely not. There's a steely determination now about those players that you know what we're not gonna lose today,
of.
and I think you're quite right. Hearts players, sorry, over the years, no matter how bad the manager's been, no matter how bad the run is, have always had that. Particularly when they play Hibs, they've
Mm.
always had that. You know what? No matter what happens today, we
Yeah.
do not we do not lose.
If you are going to beat us, it's going to be horrible. It's going
Yes,
to be
yeah,
horrible.
and that is something you need ingrained in the squad to be successful. So, look, I'm excited about the season as well. I think there's more signings to come. I think we've a system now that suits the players that we have. We've managed to keep the likes of Rocky, Iredale, these guys who were all integral to our season. Boyle signing the new contract, all really, really positive. They want to be at Hibs, which is great. I'm sure Rocky had offers elsewhere, and could have made more money elsewhere, but they actively want to be at Hibs, and that's a really nice change rather than players just going through the motions or just sitting there. I've seen a few behind the scenes things, and it just feels like a team and a squad that's together
Yeah.
and have full trust in the manager.
I always think of the worst I saw at Hibs for that was that McGivern that you had at fullback from Man City.
Oh yeah,
Ryan McGivern,
horrendous.
and just the attitude on the boy.
Yeah.
So very quickly, I'll do a quick rundown of the Hearts preseason, but just
Yep.
quickly, Robert, Hibs have got obviously the game at time of recording. That's tomorrow,
Yes.
the second leg. What's
I think we're gonna do them. I
you
think we're going
know,
through.
when you say you think you're going to do them, you mean presumably you don't mean hammer them.
No, 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 no. I
All right,
just think I
fine.
want us to, just to like get it up the manager for
Yeah,
saying that.
sure.
But
He's got a bit of Craig Levein about him with
oh
it.
no, he does. He's getting the rod out big time. Like what a thing to say. And to be fair, I think he underestimated Hibs. So
Mm.
I may eat my words, and they come and they hammer us tomorrow because they're going to take us seriously, and we gave them a fright that first leg. But I think it's going to be a very competitive match. There are going to be times again we're going to have to defend backs against the wall, but I think we can cause them problems. And I think at home, Stuart, under the lights, Thursday night, Easter
Eight-
Road.
8,000 fans, 10,000.
20,000 fans, we're going to do the business. We're gonna go through the next round.
No, I find it tough to call because yeah, do you know what? Hibs have got a bit about them now. I do think this team, if I just take all emotion out of it,
Mm,
they're probably a better team.
yeah,
You know, in terms of quality.
I
Uh,
don't think there's any doubt
and,
about that.
yeah, and this is where it gets me. And Hearts have had a couple of European campaigns recently where sometimes you're thinking, right, brilliant, Tynecastle, floodlights, everything you've just said there, and
Yeah,
Easter Road and Tynecastle both good on their day. And then the other team come up and they just knock the ball about, and you think, oh,
yeah.
this
Or they
is
just score early, knock the wind out the sails, the fans go quiet, and they
exactly,
just
yeah.
they just toy with us. And we have to score first.
Yeah, exactly. And you see, like, I'll not name any Hibs players, but maybe one that's not as technical. They're taking rotten first touches, and
Yeah.
and I think I like Devlin at Hearts. I love him to bits, but he's not exactly a technical player. You
Mm.
watch him try and control it, and then you watch these other teams that come over, and it's just night and day. Well, good luck to you. I'm going to say, do I want Hibs to go through? Probably not. I don't want East to get the money. I don't, and I'm just speaking as a Hearts fan there. I don't want East to get the money that you'd get for going through with that one.
That's fair
But
enough.
but if you do go through it, I will genuinely be happy for you. I think it's great to see Scottish clubs doing that, so long as it's not two clubs in particular. Um,
But for the coefficient as well, if Hearts want to challenge for Europe and everything, it Hibs going through may just be in your long-term interest, Stuart.
Listen, mate, we've got Jamestown Analytics. We don't need the coefficient. We'll do it all ourselves. We'll be fine
Right.
in a second.
That
Right,
remains to be seen.
we'll talk more about looking ahead to the season maybe next week, just
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
but I just wanted to quickly talk about Hearts pre-season. It's not, although we've had more games, it's not quite as exciting as a European game, obviously. The only thing I wanted to say is obviously, we've won 4-1, 4-0, 4-0, 4-0. And if I chuck in the Sunderland 3-0 in there as well, obviously that looks great. Okay, fine. It's Dunfermline, Hamilton, Stirling, and Dumbarton. The only thing I would say about it is I've seen a lot of people replying online saying, like, but who have they been playing this and that? There is absolutely a way to play lower league teams and get results, and there's a way to either slip up or scrape by. I think to score 16 goals in the four games, concede just the one, that's the way to do it. And if you want to show that you're in a different class to these teams, which Hearts should be doing, admittedly, then that's how you do it. And we've done that. There's been a phases in games where we've not been great, but they're also kind of preseason friendly, these games. We look dangerous from set pieces. The guy Ross Grant, the set piece coach, whatever it is, that's working. We've looked direct. So no, my overall summary is there's a way to beat lower league teams in cup competitions, a good way to do it, and Hearts have done that. So although it's maybe not been up against much, we couldn't have really done much better. So I
I
think
think that's fair enough. You can only beat what's in front of you, to be fair. And I know Hearts fans are very excited about the up and coming season, but again, I would just temper that with it is right to show the caliber of team that you've played because we're not going to get a gauge of where Hearts are until we see a few games into the season. Now,
oh,
if you start your first few games of the season and it's 3-4, you know you're hammering teams, then people are going to sit up and go right. Um,
like the George Burley season, for example.
exactly, exactly. I don't know. My own impression of it is that Hearts, Hibs, and Aberdeen will all be competing for the third and fourth places. I look at their squads, particularly Hibs and Hearts this season, and they should be finishing above Aberdeen.
Oh yeah, no, I'd agree with that. I'd agree with that. I want to wait a couple of weeks before making full predictions about the season. The
No,
only
of course, that's just my
No, no, no. I get that. The my excitement for the season is based on like much more than just the League Cup games. Obviously, that's helped because like
yeah,
we've scored a few goals, but no, just the the signings, the
yeah.
manager. There's a bit more to it than just thinking, "Ah, brilliant, we beat Stirling Albion."
No, 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 absolutely.
Bring on Celtic.
Like every club gets excited about new signings, and
Sure.
whether they're going to turn out good or bad, like it's okay to do that.
Aye. Now, speaking of the new season, Hibs have got Dundee on Sunday at Dens Park.
Dundee away, Dundee who have tried to create some sort of rivalry with Hibs. I don't really get it, but
Well, listen, if it helps, we hate them too after the whole email scandal a few years ago.
but I think
Sorry, tell me more about this rivalry.
I don't know. It's just Dundee fans online and stuff always
What,
try
because
and like
Mulligan?
wind Hibs things up. No, it was before Mulligan, just throughout the season, and then they ended up in the bottom six then, and then didn't hear a peep out of them. So I want to go up to Dens. So I want to put Midtjylland out their misery tomorrow, and then I want us to go up to Dens, and I want us to start the season with a 3-0 win away at Dundee. Now, whether that's realistic or not, I don't know. I think we'll win the game. I think it'll be tough after. Look, it might go into extra time and pens tomorrow night. We don't know. But if it does, our squad's going to be stretched because we've still not quite got the depth, and I think
Oh,
Gray would be the first to admit it's not quite the depth that we need to go for a Thursday and then a Sunday yet. Whether it'll come or not, we don't know, but we'll have enough to beat Dundee anyway.
let me get that clipped up for a video online. I'm actually going to say I think without the game tomorrow, yeah, Hibs win that game on Sunday. So we're just looking ahead to the league game. But I think you drop points. That might change if tomorrow, if actually you go a couple of goals down quite early tomorrow, and it then just becomes a bit of a routine game,
Hmm,
don't exert as much energy. That might actually help you for the Dundee game.
it
Obviously,
might.
I know you don't want that,
Yeah.
but that's just I'm just saying if that happens. But now I think partly because of the steely energy that Hibs have, I think you will put a lot into tomorrow as you should,
Yeah.
and it might either be a combination of the tired legs and the come down of going from Europe to,
Hmm.
and I could see a couple of drop points there for Hibs.
I don't like Dundee are great, so
But
I
then the other side of that is I look at Dundee and I think of, I love Presley for his time at Hearts. He was a great player,
yeah.
not as convinced as a manager. So that side of me makes me think of Hibs win, and that probably outweighs my initial thinking of a drop point. So
Okay.
I'm pretty split there, but if I was really pushed on it, I think Hibs get a narrow win in a not very nice game.
Oh, it's not going to be a nice game. No, it's not. But
Mm.
I back us. I back us. Who've Hearts got?
That rivalry will be stoked even further. We've got Aberdeen at Tynecastle on a Monday night.
Oh
I've
yeah.
never found out why that is. I don't know if it's just for TV or what, but
What
uh,
a cracker of a game though to start the season with.
brilliant, brilliant, and exactly what we'd want. I'd say. As much as I'm excited about Hearts, I wouldn't want away to Aberdeen, or I
Yeah,
certainly wouldn't want to start against the old firm. I think this is the perfect chance to get a win. We've got Hearts and Aberdeen. Either team have got a great home record against the other one.
yeah.
Um, and I think if you can go in there and put a marker against a team that nearly finished third last season, or certainly had a brilliant start to last season, lay down a marker, then that just builds on all the momentum that's currently
Yeah.
there right now. So I mean that's my hope, but I'd say it's probably also my thought as well.
Hmm.
I do believe that we'll play Aberdeen and beat them 2-3-0.
Oh
I really
wow.
do. Yeah, I don't know, man. Aberdeen. to be fair, I maybe don't know enough about their signings.
Mm,
Was never convinced that they were that good last season. They had an unbelievable start to the season,
yeah,
and I don't think they were as bad as what happened to them after either. I know we said that a few times last season.
yeah.
I just think they're, as you say, I think you've got a top two, I think you've got a third and a fourth, and I think Aberdeen are below that in terms of
Mm.
quality of squad. So I think with Shanklin back on fire, new direct wingers, set pieces, the good home record we've got against Aberdeen. Yeah, I'm saying a 2 or 3 nil Hearts victory.
I could, yeah, yeah. I think I could see a 2-0 Hearts win. I
Mm.
would expect Hearts to win just because first game of the season, new manager, all that, as you say,
At home.
thrown into it. And I don't think Aberdeen are as their squad's not as good as Hibs or Hearts, and I don't think their manager is as good as what Hibs or
Yeah.
Hearts have either.
All right. He's all right.
So I would expect a Hearts win. A 1-0 scrappy win wouldn't surprise me that much. And nor would kind of a 2-0 comfortable win Hearts. But I'm backing a Hearts win.
Yeah, I'd be surprised to see anything other than that recently. But really, but the great thing about it is, as much as we're in agreement about the Hearts squad versus the Aberdeen squad, I think it would feel like a big statement.
Yes.
Even if it's a game in all honesty, I'm expecting to win. It would feel like a big one getting.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely will be because Aberdeen again will be fancying themselves to challenge for third, do well in the cups, and they'll be looking at these games against Hibs, against Hearts, in the same way as we view them, that they're going to be our rivals. And if you can hammer them or, comfortably kind of dispatch with them in the first game of the season, then I think it's gonna feel like a really, really big game. So I'm actually quite looking forward to the Monday night game as well. So
Yeah, yeah, and it's nice. It's nice it's on a Monday night. I'm going to it, but it'll be a great one to sit in as well and watch on TV.
hopefully Hibs have the points in the bag.
By that point, yeah, exactly, yeah, yeah, yeah. Brilliant. Well, Rob, obviously great to get the season off to a good start from the podcast point of view. If
Yep,
there's are half as good as us, then we'll be doing. Well, I
in
don't
for a good season.
bottom six knocked out the cups, I would
Yeah,
say.
exactly. I just wanted to finish just before we finish here.
And you
I
go.
had to eat humble pie and put up a short when Aberdeen did do the unthinkable
That's right.
and won the cup last season.
Fair play.
I didn't want to start with it because it's just too depressing because it cost us so much money. But anyway, um, we said on the pod that we would eat humble pie if Aberdeen turn up on the day and beat a dominant Celtic team. That's what they did. Fair play. That's all we can say. I wasn't happy about it, but you have
No,
to give respect for them for doing it.
no, and it's like I mean, I had to say it all season last season about Hibs. Like I wasn't happy about them doing well, especially with
Yeah,
Hutchinson so bad. But you have to say fair play, and it's the same
yeah.
for Aberdeen, especially in a one-off game. You know, when Celtic just could blow anyone 6-7 nil.
Going for the treble, everything in there. Like it was, and even to be 1-0 down, I think it was the 83rd minute that they scored. So fair play to Aberdeen. We don't want you having any nice moments this season.
Oh,
I hope that Hibs hammer you, and I hope you get put out the cup early. But well done. All jokes aside, well done. And we actually had a few Aberdeen fans engaging with the short as well, just saying that they appreciate it's
I
cost
agree.
Hibs, but they appreciated we backed up what we said we'd do, and particularly me as a Hibs fan who was giving it the big one about no chance Aberdeen had and everything. So look, fair play, well done. That's what it's all
And
about.
a man of integrity, Robert.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Actually, do you know what? Final thing I'll say in it is, I just think it's nice when someone other than the big two win a trophy as well.
I'd usually say that if it wasn't at Hibs.
Yeah, no, no. It's easier for me to say that than you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, Rob, we'll be back in next week. Obviously, we'll have some games to look back on. The Dundee game, the Aberdeen game, the European game as well. So I will see you then.
See you then.